Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to SP Reviews, where today we're going to be checking out a couple of tracks from an act named Testimony of Apocalypse. And if we switch over to here, we've actually got the album art on here, the album being None Escape the Judgment, which is going to be released on September the 2nd. So that's an upcoming album that, obviously providing we enjoy ourselves today, would be well worth checking out. We're going to listen through each of these two tracks from start to finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go. Oh, nice automation of the volume, and the guitar is nicely panned. Oh, those drums are nice and punchy, aren't they? The ride's nice and resonant on the right. Oh, that bass is high, isn't it? I like it when bassists explore the higher part of the range. Nice distorted guitars. Where are we going next? We're getting that automation of that volume at a certain point, and it's kind of trippy, but I like it. Cool. Nice. Dope. I like the vocals. I like how the guitar, bass, and drums are sitting with each other. They haven't oversaturated with like a whole bunch of reverb or anything. There's a lot of punchiness to the... Oh, going back to here. Yeah, there's a real mistiness to this part of the contra. That's a guttural scream. I'm sure that guy is practicing correct technique, but it's brutal. It's brutal to get that kind of tone, but it just means that it's very present in the mix. Nice change of approach with those rhythm guitars. Great presence with those palm muted parts. Oh, nice panning of those toms as well. Oh, a little bit of phaser or flanger on those that lead guitar. Yeah, we've got a freneticism and a sense of chaos sometimes with the way this is arranged. Usually I'm used to like maybe having like groups of 4 or 8 bars together, but we will cut it short and we go for something of a more sort of progressive stance on it. And I kind of dig that. I like that it's unpredictable because you can hear that I think I've got a certain amount of time to make a statement, and then we suddenly switch and I'm cut off. But that's I don't mind that. It means that the music is inherently unpredictable, and that's actually a plus, believe it or not. I'm nodding, I'm grooving, I'm vibing. Nice use of repeaters. I'm glad we double tracked those vocals at that point just for a little bit extra oomph, you know? Nice use of triplets here from the percussionist, the drummer, and I like that the vocalist is going down a little bit lower, a little bit more kind of in that lower range. It's a nice contrast to what we've had before. It forces you to listen a bit more closely, and then you kind of get overwhelmed by the other bits, but in a nice way. It's giving me a Death Clock Metalocalypse kind of vibe a little bit. Just a little bit. Nice use of wind effects here, or the wind foley, or the wind sampling, I don't know, but it does sound like We All Shall Rise, and it's like a hellscape. It kind of, it helps with the album art here, the death being wandered over by the Four Horsemen, right? Four Horsemen, that's the name, Four Horsemen. Great start, great at first introduction. If you're gonna go for the style of music, make it heavy, make it aggressive, make it visceral. But again, I have to hand this to the band. Like, there was a precision with the way the vocals were done. That We All Shall Rise. It was a nice way to finish that song in the interlude there. Great way to reinforce that hook, get it stuck in. And the guitars and bass and drums for the most part had a real great sense of unity among them. I'm stoked with this so far. We've got Blessed Are the Dead though. Track number 2. Starting with the bass. Nice mixing on the bass, eh? Sounds nice and round. Oh, those drums are panned really nice and wide. I mean, those guitars are really panned really nice and wide. And thank you for double tracking the rhythm guitars. Nice. Are we gonna go full bore blast beats? I like the fact that we're messing around with tempos and we're not forcing ourselves to be inflexible with the speed that we approach things. It makes it seem more organic and authentic musically. Oh wow, okay. Okay, it's a shame. I really want to hear more of these leads because they're talented guitarists. That lead section we had there with those sweeps is not an easy thing to do, but it sounded so clean. I know that storytelling is important. But to be fair though, we do hear a lot of the other instruments. We're not just vocal focused. Almost kind of black metalish at this point, isn't it? That was a hell of a clean run there. I'm glad that the vocals did come back in then, because I had no idea we were going as a listener. I had no clue. I was like, oh, we're just going instrumental now. Have we had the story in the first 30 seconds? I don't mind that. Don't get me wrong. I don't got a problem with that. Let it be chaotic. It's fine. Breakdown time. Dude, what don't we have in this? So, like, you might be wondering, hang on, what kind of metal is this? It's like really interesting to me. When I grew up with metal, it was always like really kind of dark, evil kind of stuff. It was based around that kind of stuff. And then it got a little more varied and nuanced as like the 2000s and 2010s came along. But this is actually like faith-based metal. So it's kind of dope. And it's a really interesting angle that I don't get to hear enough. So I'm kind of thankful to be able to review Testimony of Apocalypse because of that. It's nice to hear this type of metal, and it's kind of dope. It's still brutal, it's still visceral, but like at the same time, yeah, it's unique. It's very, very it's more about the journey you're going on rather than trying to keep every single bar in a box. This is a great way to finish a recording session, I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is a great song, dude. That drumming is frenetic, man. Those double kicks. Those semitonal chromatic runs. There we are. And we're back to this. It's still something I'm getting my head around. Like, just naturally for me, with the vast majority of stuff I review, there is just a set tempo for the most part. So it's kind of still unusual to me that they would just completely just abandon a set tempo and just switch to that on the bar. But that's what they do. And I kind of get it from just the sense of, like, again, like, they have a vision for a riff and they just go straight to that. And that shows a real sense of musicianship, I suppose, at the end of the day. It definitely distinguishes each section so that they are easily identifiable. Great work with this interesting effects chain on the guitar parts. I wasn't expecting this, to be honest. I love it. Well done. Well done. Bravo. Genuinely. That's it. Those are the two tracks that we have today, off of Testimony of Apocalypse's upcoming album. That's released again on September the 2nd. None Escape the Judgment. We all shall rise and bless the other dead. And this is my conclusion of it. What do we think about this song, or these two songs today? Story-wise, I think it's about the end of days, people rising up from the dead. I'm gonna go and potentially, shit the bed here by maybe misunderstanding parts of the story. So bear that in mind. I'm working with what I interpreted from it, and if I misinterpret it, I'm just being honest. I may have made a muck up, but my understanding of it is that people will rise from the dead and they'll be like the second coming or something like that. And the blessed are the dead, for they will get to rise again and be a part of like the next like people who roam the earth or something like that. And maybe they'll like, I don't know more than that. I'm being very careful about what I say here, but that is my understanding of it. The imagery off of the album is absolutely gorgeous. I love the work here. Whoever did the album art design here is absolutely phenomenal and should get a raise. Everything seems very stylistically cohesive. The story is, I haven't heard about this in a while, and I dig that angle of it, metal, whatever genre, and the apocalypse and stuff. It all kind of works together really well, and it feels like a cuddly blanket to someone like me who spent a lot of time listening to it, and I had a great time reviewing it. The vocal performances there were visceral, those growls for the most part, aside from like in the latter half of We All Shall Rise, where we kind of went more of a it's almost like a meditative approach of "we all shall rise." I can't do the growlies like he can, but it was a guttural vocal for Ivan in that bit, which was impressive at that lower kind of the lower energy delivery there. You know, like to get that sound even at that being as sort of relatively quiet as he was is impressive. You know. And that lack of melodic coloration there was a great foil to all the crazy stuff going on with the guitar and bass parts. But before we get to that, the structure of these tracks was incredibly interesting. I really enjoyed my time listening through the really varied guitar riffs, the bass riffs and stuff like that. But they all came with these verse and chorus sections. I don't know if it was ABC or ABCD or ABCDE. But I don't mind. I dig it. I vibe with it, man. Give me as much as you can as long as I can vaguely follow along so it'll be fine. And that's part of why I'm glad this wasn't an instrumental. Because I feel like if you hadn't had the words to kind of give clarification to some of the bits, it may have been a bit messy. But they didn't do that. Again, you know, that was the vibe they were going for. They'll have 2 or 3 different sections, different tempos for each part. They didn't change the tempos for each different part, though, so I suppose that's what made it easier to follow. You know, the verse section had a set tempo, regardless of if it changed from the hook. You had some really wild solo section as well, just put intermittently there, that were ludicrous in their speed and capability there, but I enjoyed them nonetheless. Again, I'm always fond of a bit of shred. I'm not going to lie, and they pulled that off. The drum grooves as well, the fills and the bass runs were fantastic. I like the bass wasn't just stuck on the low end of the root notes. They explored it, especially at the start of We All Shall Rise as well. I think there was some filtered guitar parts in there as well, and there was some different Foley and foil bits that were added into post-production. All in all, for the most part, the instrumental performances were on point, and they did sync up really well with what the vocals were doing and the story. There was a real sense of there was a chemistry among everyone involved. I'm not sure. We'll talk about the production, and recording, mixing, mastering now. I'm not sure how they recorded those drums, but I like the sound of them. I like the sound of the guitars and the bass as well, and the vocals. You know, the different effects change on the instruments. It took a little bit to get used to, just because of how clean some of the bits are in regards to the precision with the EQing and stuff like that. I'm used to like things being a little bit rougher than they were, at least at the start of it, but that's just testament to the clarity of the production now. You know, the post-production studio side was great. They did a really good job of getting the instruments level, filtering out any resonances there, and it was the kind of level of post-production you need in this day and age to really stand out. Obviously, there could have been, I personally, and this is me being really pedantic and anal about it, there could have been a little more gluing in some bits. Like there could have been a little bit more like reverb in the signal chain or something like that, and master chain or something like that, just to get things like a little bit closer together. But that's totally fine. Again, I'm not going to tell these guys how to mix and master their music. They've done a great job of it, and I'm happy with what I heard so far. And I'm sure that when the album comes out, it'll just slap, man. It'll be fantastic, a great time. All in all, a really convincing first introduction to Testimony of Apocalypse, with, you know, their upcoming album and We All Shall Rise and Blessed Are the Dead. And I wish them the best of luck in future. But effectively, this is my review of some of the tracks from Testimony of Apocalypse. If you enjoyed this, and hopefully you did, please do go show them some love via their various social medias. And I'm sure they've got music on other digital streaming platforms like Spotify and all that. Stay cool and stay safe, and please remember to support local musicians and artists at this point in time, as they help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next review. Spiderhands out.